So in Dragon Ball Super's Tournament of Power, we have seen a number of fighters introduced whom possess extraordinary strength and powerful abilities, which allow them to pose a threat to almost anyone. However, one ability which has yet to be utilized in this tournament is one which fans have been speculating about since this whole thing began, and that is the mighty ability known as Fusion, in which the characters combine their bodies into one new form, which multiplies their power to a far greater height than the individuals had on their own. And a question I've wondered for a while now is, should Fusion be allowed in the tournament? Is the ability too powerful for the tournament, or will it rather help to even the playing field for weaker fighters? Honestly, I think Fusion would be fine in the tournament. The move could allow weaker fighters to actually have a chance against some of the top tier opponents in this tournament, such as Jiren, Goku, Toppo, and Vegeta. And it would be far less contrived than just having them be strong out of nowhere or constantly having them catching people off guard, which really has gotten old at this point. Now, of course, this all comes down to execution, as does everything, as if two or more characters were to suddenly learn and master this ability on the spot, it would seem pretty contrived. However, there are different forms of fusion which this show could take advantage of right now, and the plethora of different species fighting right now makes this a much easier pill to swallow. A great example of this is the Universe 6 Namekians. As we've seen in Dragon Ball Z, the Namekians have the ability to merge with one another, which greatly increases their power, multiplying it many-fold. A great example of this is when Piccolo merged with Nail on Namek, which allowed him to fight and get the better of second form Frieza. And when Piccolo reunited with Kami, he became even more powerful than Goku and Vegeta as Super Saiyans. So if these two Universe 6 Namekians were to merge their powers, it would no doubt be massive, as they're already proving problematic for Piccolo and Gohan, who are more powerful now than ever, eclipsing most if not all of the fighters in Dragon Ball Z. Another example is the modified robotic fighters from Universe 3. As we've seen many times in other series such as Power Rangers, a big power-up which is often used for robots or mechs is to combine their bodies into one super powerful form. We saw this with Power Rangers with the Mechazord, and we even saw this in Dragon Ball GT with the Sigma Force, who combined to become the Super Sigma. And while this didn't prove enough of an increase to matter in GT, in this tournament a number of the enhanced fighters who are remaining actually seem quite powerful. So if they were to combine that power and unlock further abilities, then it's possible that they could prove threats to some of the top-ranked fighters, and should be able to at least get through Jiren's barrier, which they can't do individually. Then we even have Absorption, where a character absorbs the bodies of other fighters and uses them to transform himself into a stronger body. We saw this with Cell when he absorbed the androids, as well as Super Buu and Kid Buu when he absorbed the Z fighters and the Supreme Kais. Although we haven't seen other fighters with such abilities in this tournament as of yet, this one could certainly change the dynamic in a big way if they happen to absorb some heavy hitters. But the types of fusion people are most likely wondering about are Potara and Metamaries. Now, the Potara fusion is likely out of the question, as it requires a Supreme Kai interfere by giving the team his earring, which would likely be against the rules, although there is a very slight chance Zeno would allow it for being cool. But the more likely fusion would be the Dance or Metamaries type fusion. This has been seen most prominently with Gotenks in canon material and Gogeta in the Dragon Ball Z movies, as well as the Shadow Dragon saga of Dragon Ball GT. And while neither Goten or Trunks are in this tournament, Goku and Vegeta certainly are, so the possibility of this fusion is very large. There is also the possibility of Goku and Gohan fusing into a form fans have dubbed Gokhan. This fusion was originally teased in the Buu saga before Gohan was absorbed by Super Buu, so it's another big possibility and something I would really like to to see. And even if the Metamaries fusion may not be as perfect or powerful as that of the Potara, the fact that Goku on his own was able to put up a strong fight against Jiren with his Ultra Instinct leads me to think that a fusion of Goku and Vegeta or Goku and Gohan would put him over Jiren, or at least match him at full power, assuming he doesn't have a secret transformation hidden up his sleeve. However, this method requires the fusees be equal in power, or at least at the time of fusion, and Goku's power is currently far lower than that of his full power, as he's expended most of his energy thus far. However, as it's been established in this franchise, and as recently as in this tournament, characters can share power with one another. So if Gohan or Vegeta were to transfer, say, half of their ki reserve to Goku, then they would be on equal footing to where they could fuse, and that fusion would be stronger than the sum of their parts. And even if this doesn't work for some reason, it's possible that Gohan could even fuse with Vegeta. Any of these combinations would almost certainly be enough to match or overcome Jiren, and any other fighter in the ring. The only other problem would be a time limit, which exists for both the Metamaries and Potara fusions. But if they actually fight smart this time and go all out from the beginning, this flaw in the ability could quickly dissolve, allowing Universe 7 or another universe who may borrow this ability to come out on top. In either case, I believe the answer to should fusion be allowed in the Tournament of Power is a yes, as it could provide us with some awesome moments and give a team a big enough boost to turn the tide in this fight. Now, could it actually allow other characters to defeat Jiren or to win the tournament? With Fusion's track record, it might not be a likely possibility, but if it does anything other than stall for time or look cool, it would already be better served than every other instance of it in this franchise. And that's certainly enough reason for me to want to add it to the Tournament of Power. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you could see all of my content right away when it comes out.
Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.